What's up, everyone? We've got another first here on Toy Bro Reviews. Today we're taking a look at the Marvel Selects Colossus figure from Diamond. Alright, let's take a quick look at packaging, and this guy is so big he almost takes up too much space in my review area, so it's a pretty tight shot here. So Marvel Selects come in like a big window box style with the character name on the side. We've got our figure, and then it's got just some comic book art as the background. And we'll just spin them around real quick. Showcases the figure, some comic art, some other figures, and then we've got Colossus and his accessory there. So not a whole lot to show, so let's pop this guy out. Alright, so here's our figure out of the box, and like I said, this is my first Marvel Selects figure. I don't really get into Marvel figures too much, although that seems to be changing as the days go by. But I wanted to get a Colossus figure, and despite there being a Marvel Legends Colossus coming up, he is not in the iconic costume. He's also not this big, I don't believe. And I've heard so many good things about this figure, I had to check him out for myself. And I got him for a steal, too. I paid less than retail for a Marvel Legends figure for this guy, and he's humongous compared to any Marvel Legends figure. He's about the size of a normal Build-A-Figure. Just for comparison's sake, here's Wolverine. I mean, look at that. He's huge. But it's perfect for, you know, setting him up with other X-Men. He's still pretty much in scale with a lot of X-Men figures, at least. So that's a good sign. Now, he's not as articulated as a Marvel Legends figure, but he's pretty close. He still has a lot, and I've been able to put him in a lot of cool poses. So let's go over articulation first. We've got rotation and a rocker on the head, so a lot of movement there. He can look down. He can look up. We've got rotation and a hinge at the shoulder. My joints are kind of stiff, not in a bad way, but just worth noting. We've got a bicep swivel. We've got a single jointed elbow. We have a swivel and a hinge at the wrist. We do have a bit of a torso ab crunch. We have, you know, he's got full rotation there. So he's got a good wide range of motion in that regard. There is no waist twist. There are thigh hinges, and his legs go out about that far. They can go forward about that far. Not much on the back end of that, though, at least not for me. The ball joints in my thighs are kind of tight, tighter than the arms at least. There is thigh rotation at the ball joint. There are double jointed knees that go farther back than you probably will ever need. There is a boot cut, so he's got rotation there. And then we've got a hinge at the ankle. Not really a rocker, but there is a bit of a swivel. So you can still get him in some poses that way. So he's not as articulated as a Legends figure, but he's also not under-articulated either, especially for such a bulky figure. Now, as far as sculpt goes, I think they really killed it with this. This is definitely what Colossus should look like. So the head sculpt is on point, looks just like him. We've got, you know, kind of the bulky, muscled action figure that you would expect to get from him. I don't really have any complaints here. All of the lines in the bodywork, those are all sculpted in. Belt sculpted in. We do have this, the top of the costume is a sculpted piece that sits over the torso. So you can pop the head off, and then you can take this piece off if you want him to be shirtless, but then you're going to have the ab section showing, so it's not really going to work too well. The boots are sculpted pretty nicely. They don't really hinder articulation even with this flap here, so that's good. As far as paint goes, I think it looks pretty solid. I have a few little misses on mine. I've got some red that kind of oversprayed here on the wrist, and then there are some nicks here and there, but nothing too crazy. The only thing I think this guy could benefit from is more of a wash in the lines, and there is a bit of a wash in him to begin with. He already looks kind of dirty, but I've seen some folks that have added more of a wash to their figure, and he kind of pops even more. You can really make the silver stand out with a bit more black in those lines. So, you know, because there's line work all over the hands, and on every bit of exposed skin except for the face, he has those lines. So you can really make this sculpt stand out if there was more of a wash. but the other paint where it is really good. I don't have any issues with the boots. The yellow is on there nice. The black is on there really well. The gauntlets are kind of a metallic color versus the flatter reds that are molded in the other plastics. And then the belt has the gold and gold paint on the piping, and then the black X. So, I really like it. There's a lot of shading on the torso piece inside the line work for his, like the wrinkles in the chest piece, and then just the overall musculature. So overall, I think he looks great. I think it's a solid representation of Colossus. So let's take a quick look at the included accessories. Okay, now as far as accessories go, when you think of Colossus, I don't think accessories are what comes to mind at the first thought. He doesn't have much of anything that you could offer outside of different variations of Colossus. And if we're going with the classic, he has nothing. He fights with his fists. He doesn't have energy blasts. He doesn't have anything like that. So in normal fashion with the Marvel Select figures, they usually come with like a base or some sort of stand. I think this is a trend with some of the X-Men figures. And again, I'm not an expert on Marvel Selects because this is my first one, but some of the other X-Men figures come with these type of pieces, and Colossus comes with this thing, which is like a piece from the Danger Room. It's like as far as I can tell, it's like a wall that's coming down with spikes to like crush whoever's ever in there. I know the Gambit figure and the Cyclops figure also come with something similar. I don't know. I don't know what to do with this. I'll probably see if I can sell it to someone that maybe needs it for a diorama. I have no use for it. I'm not gonna use it. He certainly can't stand on it or anything. But it's a cool little accessory, especially if you're into making dioramas like that. And if you have the others, I assume they maybe fit together in some fashion. It doesn't seem like this connects to anything, but they probably go together. But this is kind of another thing with these figures because, like I said, I got this for less than the price of a Marvel Legends figure at retail. And, look at the size of this guy, and then the fact that it comes with this humongous hunk of plastic. I know it's just a hunk of plastic, but at the same time, you don't get this with a Marvel Legends figure. You're certainly not going to get something like this. So I think it goes along with what you're getting for your value in terms of, accessories or diorama pieces, just the different things that Marvel Select offers that you don't get in the other Marvel lines. So overall, I'm pleasantly surprised with this figure. This makes me want to get a couple others that are in the larger scale. Like there's a Sabretooth in this line, and Sabretooth is a bigger character. I don't know if a current Marvel Legends Sabretooth, maybe there's an old Toy Biz, but I'm not going to go spend money on a Toy Biz Marvel Legends at this point. I don't think there's one coming up, and certainly not one that's going to be huge and hulking like he should be compared to Wolverine at least. So this Colossus has made me kind of want to get more, not a lot more, because I don't need to go down that road. But this is a really cool figure. Colossus is one of my, if not my favorite X-Men, and I was really excited when we were going to get a Marvel Legends, and then I found out that he's not going to have the classic costume. And while I still want that figure, don't get me wrong, I'm definitely in for that figure. This is the Colossus that I want to have, and I think he scales well with some of the Marvel Legends, so he will look fine standing next to the current X-Men wave, because Colossus is supposed to be like 7.5 feet tall when he's transformed, so he's not a short character, so he can be this big, and it's going to be fine. So if you're a big Colossus fan, this, in my opinion, is probably the definitive Colossus, at least for the time being. That Marvel Legends may blow things out of the water, even with the different costume, but this is the classic Colossus. This is the one that everybody thinks of. So I was really, really pleased. Sculpt, paint, articulation, especially for the price I paid. I paid just under $20 for him, and that's on the low end. I know they go for a little more, but for what I paid, that's pretty great. It's like an 8-inch figure, so he was definitely worth my money. And like I said, it's probably going to make me get at least a couple others. So that's going to do it for this review, everyone. As always, stay tuned to Toy Bro for more reviews, and feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this guy if you've got him or if you're planning on getting him. And until next time.